affecting the child. Not just that the husband says, oh, I want to spend more time with him, or now I have a different job and I can spend more time with him, but what would be in the child's best interest, or what's affected the child's best interest such that there should be a change. So if nothing's happened other than the father maybe attempting to potentially alienate the child, really a judge may potentially see through that. But then again, you might have a judge say, but hey, I got a 15-and-a-half-year-old, I got a 16-year-old, what am I going to do with a teenager who will turn around and walk out the door?
And Don, as a practical question, she's also looking at how much it's going to cost her. So is it really worth, you know, going to battle here, spending thousands of dollars, and then at the end of the day, the judge may make the determination based on, well, he's a 15-year-old kid, he's getting close, he knows what he wants. Even if even if Sherry's got a great legal argument.
That's a practical problem. You know, you'd have to develop more facts to determine that, but there's a distinct possibility that the child's preference would be honored because of his age, which is only one factor, but it could be a compelling factor.
Dr. DeGeer, any words of advice from your perspective?
Well, listening as a psychologist, I'm wondering what's happening with her son and how he's feeling and what's going on with him. You know, whether he lives with his mother or his father, the relationship that he has with his mother will be very important no matter where he's living. And I guess I'm wondering if there's a way for them to possibly speak to a counselor together, just so that she can understand what's happening with him emotionally.
Thanks for your advice, Dr. DeGeer. And Sherry, you can always contact our Law Journal offices during the week. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. Let's get to our next phone caller, Ellie, who we thought we had on the line just a few minutes ago. I think we do have you this time. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Good. What's your question for us?
The question is, my husband and I have a 4-year-old granddaughter who we've had to visitation, not legally, but from the mother to see ever since she was born. About over a year ago, all of a sudden she stopped letting us see her. She moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania. We don't know where she is. We can't find our granddaughter, and we don't know what to do. Do you have any advice?
Where do we start, Don Spry?
Well, is your daughter divorced, or was she a single mom?
No, it's not my daughter. It's my son's girlfriend, and he went to college for 2 years. So while he was over there, he had verbal contact with her, but he wasn't home for 2 years. He was in Arizona, and he came home now, and he's trying to find her, and we can't find her. She moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania. We have no idea where she is. We made various attempts to call her while we could contact her, and she never returned our phone calls, and she always changed her number and moved.
So you don't know where she is?
No.
You don't know where your grandchild is?
No.
Okay. There is a grandparent visitation statute in Pennsylvania, but you wouldn't be able to exercise your rights unless you can find out where the mom is to serve process on her.
Do you have any idea if she's still in the state, if the mom is still in the state, or you have no idea whatsoever?
We don't know exactly.
You don't know exactly. It means you may have an inkling?
Yes.
What do people do sometimes? I mean, nowadays, especially with the internet, I would say that if you want to track somebody down, your chances are better now than when you folks were on the program 15 years ago.
Oh,
right?
I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah, private investigators.
Let's say she can track her, her grandchild down, her son's ex. Then what? Because again, she's got nothing in writing, but you're saying that there's statutory protection in Pennsylvania.
There is statutory protection, but this is a girlfriend of her son. I'm not sure that the grandparents would have legal standing.
Ah,
that
really?
That might
so
be
it could
a
be their
problem.
blood. It's her blood, but the fact that the son and the girlfriend weren't married would have.
No, not that. It's was your grandchild living with you at all?
No, but we had her all the time. We had her all the time. She spent time with us. She spent nights with us, and
Okay.
we had no problem. And we don't know what happened. She just decided to move and cut all ties with us, and we don't know what to do.
So as a practical matter,
I think
she's
there
got
could
to
be
track this woman down.
And then I think there could be a grandparent visitation complaint filed.
All right. Good luck, Ellie, and thanks for the phone call tonight. And again, if you need some more help, contact our offices during the week. Let's go to the other side of the river. Tracy from Trenton, New Jersey. Good evening, Tracy.
Hello.
Hello, Tracy. You're on the air. What's your question?
Hi, I'm trying to find out how to retrieve child support in arrears. I'm in excess of $40,000 that's owed to me, and every time we go to court, the judge basically says, try harder, and I still get nothing. What more could I do?
What kind of court process or procedure are we possibly talking about here, Bonnie?
Well, I'm not quite sure I understand. First of all, is child support being paid through probation or the New Jersey Family Support Center?
No.
Well, that would be, under our court rules, you can go down to the family court and make an application to have your support paid through that agency. And our lingo sort of is probation, but it's really the New Jersey Family Support Center. Once it is paid through that, they will take steps to enforce the child support on your behalf. If he's in arrears, they will eventually bring him in for court. They will arrest him. But you can go down to family processing or family intake at the Mercer County Court. Is it Mercer County Courthouse? And you can make an application to have your support paid through probation, and they should be able to help you enforce your agreement.
The problem is he keeps going to court and he says, I'm not employed, and he's never been arrested. They just keep saying, try to find work.
Well,
and I cannot afford a lawyer.
But it's always difficult to enforce, to get money from someone who doesn't have it. However, if the order has been set that he is supposed to pay a certain sum in child support, it cannot be retroactively modified except for the filing of a motion. So it seems to me that a court would make him pay something. And once it's being paid through probation, you will have a better shot of getting some money.
It doesn't sound like you're represented. Am I correct, Tracy?
I'm sorry?
Yes, it doesn't sound like you're represented by counsel, by an attorney?
No, I cannot afford it. I'm a single mom with two teenage girls.
If there's $40,000 out there, you may, wish to try to find how you can get some representation, because it sounds like there's a lot of, if you will, money on the table there that really is for your kids. And so that may be the first step. Again, good luck. Thanks for calling tonight. There's a caller who did not wish to air her voice on the air, but I'm going to present it to you, Bonnie, because it's from New Jersey. This one goes into the area of college education. We almost know the answer right away. If a divorced man in New Jersey remarries, does the new wife's assets or income figure into what he should pay for his children's college education? She loses on both grounds there. Yeah. Go ahead.
The answer is that the new wife and the new wife's asset, they have no obligation to support your child. The only way it could be possibly considered is that the income that your ex-spouse now has and receives from the ex-wife opens up more of his income and makes more of his income available for the payment of college education. So it's not that her income is being considered or rolled into any calculation, but the fact that he now has less expenses to say that are legitimately his that he would have to pay. So instead of having $1,000, for example, a week, he might have $1,500 a week, and therefore he can pay potentially pay a larger share of the college expenses.
Right. Okay. But generally no and no.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Let's go to Sarah in Yeadon next. That's in Pennsylvania, correct, Sarah? Is Sarah on the line? Do we have Sarah?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Sarah. You're from Yeadon, Pennsylvania. I've never heard of the town. Where's it located?
It's like Lansdowne.
Oh, okay. All right. Not that far. So how can we help you? What's on your mind tonight?
Yes, actually, my husband and I have a custody agreement. I have primary custody, he has partial, and last year I ended up moving from my residence that I had given the court, and they told me if I ever switch addresses to tell them. And I asked my husband to keep him overnight, an extra night, and I would pick him up when I got to a new residence, but he's kept him since then. It's been over a year, and now he's saying he wants to take me back to court for abandonment.
Wow. A year. What happened in that last year?
It's been the year, but I'm sorry?
What happened in that last year? Well, I mean, I'm surprised you didn't assert your rights sometime in that last year.
Well, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know whether to take the custody papers to the cops and have them arrested or what to go about. I mean, I didn't really want to get violent with my kids. Like, I didn't want my kids to see that So I don't know what to do. I mean, I've seen him. He'll let me come visit him. He just won't let me take him.
Just as a practical question, once he had the children for this extra small bit of time, did you want custody of the children immediately, or did you say, you know, hang on to them for a little bit, but I'll be calling?
No, I only asked him to keep them overnight until the next day, and he ended up keeping me from them since then.
Well, you've heard more odd fact patterns before, Don, but I'm going to ask you to dig in.
Was there a custody order originally a year ago that you were the custodial parent and he was the partial custodian?
Yes, I'm the primary and he's the partial.
Okay, you could have filed a petition for contempt and a request for the court to turn the kids back over to you at that time. But during that year, you've been seeing the kids, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then he's never going to be able to prove abandonment.
Okay.
If you were to file a request for custody now, how old are your children?
They're 3 and going to be 5.
Okay.
One just turned 3 and the other one's going to be 5 the day after Christmas.
Do you feel that you'd be the better custodial parent now?
Yes, I mean, I'm supposed to be getting my own place soon. I have a job set up. He's living with his parents and above the 3-car garage with the apartment on top.
Then I think it's in your best interest to file a custody complaint as quickly as you can and ask the court to return custody to you.
And do you think she stands on good legal footing there, Don?
Well, from what I'm hearing, there's been continuing contact with the kids. The father used self-help in the first instance, and assuming that she's reestablished her own place and has the ability to care for the kids and has a job, yeah, I think she's got a pretty good.
But it's going to take a lawyer, and it's going to take process.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. DeGeer, any words of advice, again, from your end of the practice, being a psychologist?
You know, it's hard to get a sense for what's really happened with our caller and her children. I just find myself wishing them all the best and hoping that everybody can be reunited in a way that feels safe and healthy for all concerned.
Gotcha. All right, thanks, Dr. DeGeer. Let's go to, I think it's Sue from Chalfont, Pennsylvania. Next, go ahead, Sue, what's on your mind?
Hi, I just have a quick question for you. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
My son is 17 and a half. He is adopted. His biological mother had contacted him through Facebook several months back and told him that we stole him from her. And she's very unstable, and I'm really scared. He's always known the truth that he's adopted, but I'm scared. What happens when he turns 18?
I'm going to go to Dr. DeGeer on this one. Dr. DeGeer, weigh in, if you would.
Wow, that's a pretty unusual use of Facebook there, and I'm sure not one that was welcome to you. I can only assume and hope that having had this boy for 17 years, he is well attached to you. And unfortunately, 17 years old is a hard time, and kids can get confused and angry and have a lot of issues with whether they want to stay with you or whether they want to branch out on their own. So his biological mother has found him at a vulnerable time.
Sue, let me, if I may interject, Sue, what is it that you're afraid of? That somehow your affections will be somehow, you'll become estranged from your son?
Pardon? No, actually, no. I'm quite confident that he's quite comfortable here.
Okay.
What I'm scared of is that she's so unstable. I'm just unsure what she can do.
I see.
What could she? I'm afraid for my own family, with all of my boys, including my son.
Well, Dr. DeGeer, you'd probably suggest that the son, at least for the time being, stop responding to his biological mother on Facebook, no?
Yeah, perhaps another way of interacting with her, if he feels like he really has to, where you could, I don't know, see what he's doing or maybe even be a part of it in some way. I mean, I feel like I want to reassure the caller that however unstable his biological mother might be, I am sure that he is very well attached to you, and you have provided him with that safe and loving home for 17 years. And that doesn't just go away because he meets his biological mother who's not stable. But I feel for you. That's a hard situation.
And it's too early, obviously, for some sort of restraining order or something along those lines. But it might be those kinds of things that if you just cut ties, your son doesn't communicate, that it may be one of those things that does go away. And if not, obviously, you have to continue to watch it. Thank you for your telephone call. Let's go to Lynn in Philadelphia next. Go ahead, Lynn. Lynn, you're on the air. Are you with us?
Hello.
Hi, go ahead. You're on the air, Lynn. What's your question?
I have custody of my 15-year-old son. He lives with me, but he goes with his dad, every other weekend. It was ordered by court when he was back in first grade, 7 years ago. He has to pay child support, half of his tuition for Catholic high school, and his health insurance. He does everything but the tuition now. He told me if I have a problem, take him to court. Now, what would be your suggestion to go ahead and file?
What does he pay? What was he ordered to pay, and what is he paying?
Tuition, his insurance, and his health insurance. He'll pay the insurance.
I missed the middle one. You talked about tuition and then health insurance. What was the one in the middle?
His school tuition. Okay. Child support and
child
insurance.
Support. Okay.
And is he paying that, or is he not paying that?
Everything but the tuition. This is the first year that he's not doing it.
Okay.
And he's supposed to pay that under the court order?
Yes, he is. Half of it. I pay half. He pays the other half.
You file a petition with your domestic relations office for contempt.
Okay.
Because it's agreed to and it's part of the order, right? It's right there in black and white.
Right.
Do you think sometimes spouses just think, I'm just going to get away with it?
Sometimes they do.
Yeah. And they do. What? Because the other spouse doesn't take the initiative or doesn't maybe have the money to enforce the order that was uttered in black and white years before?
I think money can be one issue. Sometimes it's how your relationship, and the Dr. DeGeer can talk more about this, because even though you may be divorced, your relationship post-divorce can be similar to the marriage. So if you have a relationship with unequal power, you may feel, I'll never win, I won't take him back. And many times it's money. And so then you have to weigh and balance, how much could I potentially get and how much am I going to spend?
Folks, we didn't get to many of your phone calls tonight. We didn't get to many of your emails, but you can continue asking us questions. Go to our website, our brand new website, lawjournaltv.com. You can write questions to us there by simply writing info@lawjournaltv.com. You can call us toll free, 888-78-LAW-TV. This program, in addition to all the programs that we produce here at Law Journal, later go up to our website as a webcast. If you want to find out what's coming up next, go to our Facebook page, American Law Journal. Get your law on demand. I want to thank Bonnie Frost for 15 years of compelling family law programming. Dr. Lise DeGeer from Pennington, New Jersey. Thanks for joining us tonight, Doc.
Thank you for having me.
And as always, Don Spry, the Dean of Family Law from the Greater Lehigh Valley. Great to have you along here tonight. For all of us here at the American Law Journal, thank you for joining us. Until next Monday night, case closed.
This week's American Law Journal has been made possible in part by King, Spry, Herman, Freund, and Fall.